Welcome back. It's Melanie, your She Shed Scrapper. So today I am back with a one-page layout using 3 photos and using scraps. This wood grain paper is not a scrap piece, but the other pattern papers I'm going to use are scraps. I believe they all come from an old Paper House Productions collection. I have like a outdoor camping hunting collection and then a fishing one of theirs as well. So these photos are my son target shooting, and they're kind of a progressive photo, I guess. They're photos. So I do have them kind of laid across the page in order. And then I wanted, obviously, to add some pattern paper to the collection. And so I am using this green paper for a scrap piece, and I am going to end up using that on the top and the bottom of my photos. I did not want it to go all the way across the page, however, and so I did trim that down a little bit. Again, just by using scrap pieces and cutting them down, you can make it look like paper goes all the way through. And so I've been doing this a lot more lately because I do tend to keep a lot of my scraps, but I am going back and using most of them, I guess. So I am just going to tape my photos right on the page and go all the way across the page here, because I don't want a gap, because I don't want you to be able to see that my photos or that my papers don't go all the way behind. I did have to kind of readjust my photos a little bit because they were not lining up perfectly. And again, if I were to add that paper behind, you would be able to see it through that gap in my photos. So I did have to kind of readjust it a little bit. But I am just going to line that green paper up perfectly with those photos, and then this kind of, chevron arrow paper, I am going to go kind of above the green paper, and then I am going to, I believe, dovetail the bottom so that it looks like a flag that goes all the way down the page. And I don't remember, I did obviously trim quite a bit of it off. I think it goes past the green paper as well. So it looks really long when in fact they're just 2 short pieces. This one here, I have a lot of miscellaneous embellishments, I guess. You can see that before I started the layout, I did stamp a few images to the right. There's that deer, and then I tried to make a tag. I wish I would have done a colored tag instead of the white. Spoiler alert, I don't end up using the tag. I do use the deer, but the tag just was too plain for me. So I did decide to add some blue across, just some cardstock, just to kind of cover up the seams, and I guess kind of any blemishes as well. And then it just kind of helps it look like, I had a viewer comment that it makes it almost look like the photos are matted, and I like that. I like that look. If you've been watching, I tend to matte most of my photos. So I like that interpretation, I guess, of those 2 thin strips of cardstock. So I decided to make my title bright orange and have it take aim. I struggle for some reason scrapbooking photos like this. I don't know what it is, but I feel like every time I scrapbook, like target shooting, I don't end up loving them. I struggled with this one with where to embellish, and I think it's because that kind of colored paper is very, very busy. So it was hard for me to kind of embellish on top of that. And I also have limited embellishment. So that also kind of, I don't know, I struggled with that as well. So I am going to end up using the deer. You can see that I am even trying to spruce up this tag. I also, when I stamped all the other images, stamped the antlers there and cut those out. So I'm just trying to spruce that up. But again, I just don't love that it was white. So I did end up adding this sticker that says Into the Woods. Again, not my favorite. So this is a Kaiser Craft collection. I'm kind of looking for stickers, embellishments to use. I went into my outdoor kind of folder of collections, and that helped. There were some things in here that I could then use. Not totally specific to target shooting or whatever, but outdoorsy and color-wise matched pretty well. So I am going to use some of those and try to add to the title at the top as well. There was a little deer, so I did end up adding that. It was dark enough on that busy paper that I thought it showed well enough, and so I did end up adding that. And then I decided to keep the deer kind of down to the bottom right there and add a few pieces to that. Those feet, like the hiking boot prints, worked nicely, and then I found binoculars, which I thought were appropriate. I have these epoxy trees that I decided to try and add, and so I added one to that bottom cluster down there. I decided I would try and journal to the bottom right. So that might be an option on where to journal. I remembered that I had some, I guess, tags, journaling pieces from Close to My Heart. And so I did end up adding one of those at the bottom to kind of close that cluster off, I guess. And I will just do a little bit of journaling down there. I found some dark brown kind of wood grain embellishments from Close to My Heart that worked well with the color of the background paper. So I did end up adding a huge heart to the top, and then just trying to add other pieces. Kind of wanted to bring in some like pieces to each of the clusters. And this is where there's only kind of 2 spots that I have embellishments on, and felt like I really should have a third. But again, that chevron is just so busy that I struggled with what to use. So I would love your opinion. Should I go back and add some more or leave it how it is? I told my husband when this one was done, I said, you win some, you lose some, but the memory is documented. And that is how I feel with this one. Not one of my favorites, but again, these photos are back probably from 2020, 2021, and I've been putting it off, so at least the memory is documented now, whether I love the layout or not. But I'd love your opinion on how to kind of spruce it up if you have any. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.